Shalom, Kal Haloyamla, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rucha Kodash, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahawashi, Brakata Rucha Kodash, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rucha Kodash. Shalom and double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim, Wa'akwa, Shalom of the hopeful elect. Just want to make a quick video. Breaking news here. Pope Francis, World War III has been declared. As we have been prophesying, World War III is imminent, and it's it's a powder keg, meaning it's bound to explode and pop off at any moment now. As I made a video earlier in the year, World War III 2022 is likely, it's probable, possible, based off of the prophecies and the filtering the actions going on throughout the earth through the Holy Scriptures. That's spot on in all the prophecies. So right here it says Pope Francis, World War III has been declared. And we'll go ahead real quick and jump into, before we read the article, read bits and pieces of it. We'll go ahead and get Revelations chapter 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So there were three woes prophesied by the Holy Scriptures. The book of Revelations was written by, the visions of Revelation was given to John the Revelator while he was in prison on the island of Patmos. And the Almighty Yahweh gave him these visions. And the prophecies are right down. And there was three woes that John the Revelator had got. And woe means destruction or war. So three wars. The third woe cometh quickly. The third war cometh quickly. So there's been two world wars, World War I and World War II. Those were the first two woes. And now the third woe that's coming quickly is World War III. And then we'll go ahead and read verse 15 real quick. It says, and the seventh angel sounded. That's the seventh trumpet. So, and the seventh angel sounded, and there was great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world, meaning the heathen kingdoms of this world, are become the kingdoms of our Lord, who Yahawashi, whom Yahweh, the Almighty Power, the Father, gave unto his Son, Yahawashi. So all the heathen nations now have just become the Lord Yahawashi's, and of his Hamashiach, and of his Christ. Christ is, the Hebrew word for Christ is Hamashiach, which means anointed. And he shall reign forever and ever. So, it's letting you know, once the third world war pops off, it's going to all culminate, it's going to all end in thermonuclear fire. And so that's letting you know that that's that third world war. And then the Messiah, that's when he inherits the kingdom of earth, the kingdom of heaven forever and ever, and receive the earth and take over earth from all these heathen kingdoms that's been oppressing his little brothers and sisters, the Israelites. So we'll go ahead. And why is this going to happen? Because, in part because of this. Isaiah 14 and 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The Edomites slain the Israelites. So-called white people slay so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans at no end and hold themselves not guilty. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. So who's the seed of evildoers? The so-called white race. All they do is wickedness. Name one thing that, think about it hard, rack your brain, think about something that they've done that's good and beneficial and righteous for society and a credit to society. You can't. They're a debt to society, even to their own self. So we'll go ahead and read a little bit here. It says World War III has been declared. Pope Francis said in a wide-ranging conversation. Now the Pope, he is heavily plugged in. All the nations on the earth, all the heathens, go and bow down and kiss his ring, kiss his hand, and they know that he basically, he's pretty much the spiritual guide on the left hand side for these heathen nations. So if he's saying this, then that means it's pretty legit. But we already knew through the prophecies, as we've prophesied, that World War III is already, going on, but it's pretty much kind of official now. Pope Francis said in a wide-ranging conversation with the editors of European Jesuit publications on May 19th, referring to Russia's attack on Ukraine. The conversation was published by the Italian Jesuit publication La Civiltà Cattolica and the secular newspaper La Stampa on June 14th, and is sure to spark discussion. The world is at war, he said. For me today, World War III has been declared. This is something that should give us pause for thought. What is happening to humanity that we have had 3 world wars in a century? See, that's the devil for you right there, because first and foremost, you need to worry about those Catholic priests that's raping all them boys in them Catholic churches. First and foremost, clean that up. And secondly, these devils, they want to say humanity is they want to take out they all heathen nations don't rule side by side with the Edomites, so-called white race. It's them. They get all the credit for leading and being on top, right? And then whenever the negative things happen like this in World War and bombs, then they want to say humanity. No, it's the Edomites. We'll go and get that real quick. It's not humanity, it's only the Edomites. Job 9:24. What's wrong with the Edomites? They are a warlike nation that only know how to kill, steal, and destroy. The virus of the earth. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The Most High temporarily has given the earth into the hand of the wicked. Who's the wicked ruling right now? Who's ruling right now? The Edomites, so-called white race, all across the earth. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Who's the judges? The Almighty Power is the Almighty Power and Almighty King and Judge of the earth. And he given all power to his only begotten Son, Yahushua. And then also the apostles and the rest of the prophets. Those are the judges. He whitewashed everything. Called iconoclasm, during the Renaissance period, and whitewashing everything. If not, where and who is he? So if he didn't do it, then who's done it? No other nation on the earth has painted the images of the Almighty, the Messiah, and the children of Israel white, or whatever nation color. No one's done that but the Edomites. They're the wicked. So go back to the article. So they're a warlike nation, and it's 3 wars within 100 years, within a century, because they are the wicked, and all they know how to do is kill and destroy. Francis spoke about the complex background to the war in Ukraine and the interests involved, including those of arms manufacturers. See, because they make a lot of money. They make the most money during the time of war. That's a popular phrase the heathen love, especially what the Edomites love to use. You buy when there's blood flowing through the streets. So war is when they make their most money. Arms dealers, arm manufacturers, meaning weapons dealers, weapons creators, and they sell it. They make the most money during these times. He denounced the brutality and ferocity. The only brutal, ferocious beast on the earth are the so-called Edomites. And we'll get that real quick. Revelations 13:3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. That's that 4th beast, the Roman Empire. And his deadly wound was healed. How was it healed? Through the Congress and the Senate and the Congress and everything. The political structure here in America is the same that was in Rome, in Washington, D.C. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. So I want to go into that word wander. All the nations fall. That's why everybody on the earth wear 3-piece suits and ties. Because why? The Chinamen, everybody throughout the earth, all the heathen nations wear suits. Why? Because the white man, they wandering after the beast. That's a white, that's so-called white attire. That's not their attire. That's not ancient attire. That's new beastly attire from the criminal. That's criminal attire, actually. So when you go into that word, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going to that word beast, getting a Greek word on it, therion, and right here, an animal, and a wild animal, wild beast, a metaphor. So this is not literally a beast, but a man that's of a beastly nature. A metaphor, a brutal, bestial man, savage, ferocious. So it's a savage, ferocious beast-like man, a brutal man, and that's the characteristics right here. Where we at? Yeah, he denounced the brutality and ferocity, and that's the Esau Edom, the so-called white man, of the Russian troops, and praised the heroism. Well, the beast is referencing the Roman Empire, and this is talking about the Russian troops. But we know that the Russians, the Europeans, the Britons, the Australians, the so-called Americans, so forth and so on, they're all of the nation of Edom. They're all Edomites, so they all have the same ferocious spirit of the Russian troops, and praised the heroism and courage of the Ukrainians. At the same time, he said, "We do not see the whole drama behind the war, which was perhaps somehow either provoked or not prevented." So this is all biblical prophecy. It's the Most High power, the Most High steering all of the kings' hearts of the earth to bring in the new world, the Third World War, to bring in the kingdom of heaven and beam up the elect of the Israelites. So that's the quote he said a minute ago. We'll go ahead and skip that. The Pope has faced criticism for not calling out the Russian president by name and for suggesting that perhaps NATO may have provoked the war by barking at the gates. So they're saying that, so I guess there's criticism by, people looking on, listening to the Pope speak about it. But, this is all of the Most High doing. It's flowing flawlessly and perfectly through the Holy Scriptures. But in the new interview, the Pope said he was quoting what one The Pope said he was quoting what one head of state had told him. Even so, Francis denied that he is pro-Putin. So he's trying to maintain a neutral, on the fence, non-biased, objective stance, and he's basically saying he's trying to just state the facts. But they're all Edomites. I am simply against reducing complexity to the distinction between good guys and bad guys without reasoning about roots and interests, which are complex, he said. While we see the ferocity, the cruelty of Russian troops, we must not forget real problems if we want them to be solved. And reading on his next paragraph, a Jesuit editor from Eastern Europe noted that we are living through a war of attrition, and write about it in our journals, and asked the Pope, "What are your suggestions for communicating the situation in which we are living?" Well, it's in the answers are in the Holy Scriptures. How can we contribute to a peaceful future? See, these Edomites, they don't know anything, but the wicked at least know. They're just paying lip service, putting out information because this is what the public is going to read that don't know what's going on. But the wicked elites, best believe that the Pope knows what's going on. The Most High is stirring up the hearts of the wicked elites on the left-hand side, because the only people that can bring this in are those that are in control. The average so-called white person you see that's walking around the streets, they can't do anything. So the ones that make the decisions, the Most High is guiding them right now to bring in the kingdom of heaven. So this is a question right here he just posed. He said, how can we contribute to a peaceful future? So we'll go ahead and get a couple precepts and close out. And I'll leave the link in the description for this article if you want to read it on your own and read the whole thing. So he's talking about a peaceful future. Well, they're a warlike nation. They don't understand what peace is. They don't understand harmony. They don't understand humbleness, and they're led by their emotions and not the spirit, in their flesh, not the spirit. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So the righteous, that's the Jacob, so-called black, Spanish, and Native Americans, the Israelites. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, and that's so-called Edomite. That's the Edomites, so-called white race. It's gonna break it down, It's like if I get kind of thorough, but I just like to break it down, to the most simple form. 2 Thessalonians 2:7. For the mystery of iniquity, that's wicked. That's the wickedness. That's the wicked of the earth. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. So all the sins and all of the wickedness on earth has reached its full maximum capacity now. And the Most High, he's about ready to return. Will send his only begotten Son, his right arm extension, to destroy all of the hurtful works of the wicked. Only he who letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. That letteth meaning only the Most High Power Yahweh who allow, he will allow it. He's allowed that because he's given the earth into their hand, into the hand of the wicked, until it's time now to take that evil wicked beast out of the way and bring in that kingdom of heaven. And that's what's about to happen pretty soon, according to these prophecies. That's going really fast now. Let's get Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain. Mountain is another word, a buzzword for a nation. And he will destroy in this nation the face of the covering cast over all the people. And we read about that, who who paints the faces and covered the faces of the judges. He's that covering. Esau Edom covers all things and make it white. Even Egyptians and all the dark nations on the earth, when you do a movie or videos, he's always having, while the images are always so-called white people. He's that covering over all the nations. And he will destroy in this nation the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So that's the so-called white race that has deceived the entire earth. Everybody's and that's what made all the nations wander after the beast, because he lied and tricked them. Everybody wandering after him as he's something special, wearing 3-piece suits. Let me see something real quick. He said, I am simply against reducing complexity to the distinction between good guys and bad guys, without reasoning about roots and interests, which are complex. The Pope said, yeah, because the Most I say, write it plain upon tables, so that he that may read it can run. The Edomites, everything is complex and deceptive, because they can't be plain and truthful, because they'll be immediately exposed, because nothing they do is right. And we'll get Revelation 6:4. Excuse me. It says, let me see why I got that. Between good guys and bad guys without reasoning. See, because all this conflict is between one nation, the Edomites. They're killing each other. So-called whites, Americans, Russians, they're all so-called white people. So they're Edomites fighting each other, destroying each other, because they don't know how to be peaceable. If they can't be peaceful to each other, how can they be peaceable to anybody else on the earth? So Revelation 6:4, and there went out another horse that was red. This is Esau Edom. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, because they only know how to wage war and kill. And they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So this red horse represents the red, because white people are not white, they're actually red. That's why they bend over. I remember I played football back in middle school, my coach, he was a super leprous Edomite white boy, and one time he bent over to pick up some cleats off the ground. He stood up and he was literally red as an apple. That is shock. It was a shocking. It just shocked me to see him so red. So these people are red; they're not white. And power was given to him that sat there on to take peace from the earth, and that they should, they're taking peace from all the other nations, their neighbors, and then also that they should kill each other. They're killing everybody and themselves. So these people don't know how to have peace. That's why the Pope is like, I don't know. He said, where he say, how, right here it says, how can we contribute to a peaceful future? He don't know how to, because they're not a peaceful nation. They're only wicked. From there we'll get Genesis 25 and 25. Genesis 25:25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So there was twins in Rebekah's womb, Jacob and Esau. Jacob, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, the Israelites, and then Esau, so-called white nation. And we know this, and this was his characteristic. When he came out, he was red all over, like a hairy garment, and we know so-called white people are very hairy. That's why they shave every day. They shave daily because their hair grow back real fast, because they're truly the natural Bigfoot. You know how Bigfoot is hairy all over. That's what he is. If they don't shave for a long time, they'll look like Bigfoot, literally. And they called his name Esau. Genesis 27 and 40. And by the sword shalt thou live, and that's that sword we read about in Revelation 6. He was given a great sword, and that's that sword, Esau Edom, that red dragon. That's Esau Edom. He was red all over. That's the Edomites, so-called white race. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So right now, that's what he's doing. He has dominion right now, because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he has that great sword, and he's that red. He's the red people of the earth. They're not white. Because all he know how to do, because the Pope was saying he don't know how they're going to be. He don't know how to bring peace for the future, because they don't understand peace. They only understand how to kill. Where is that? Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. These scriptures got him down to a T. Also, because he transgresseth, meaning that sin by wine, as wine is spiritual wine, is the false Satanist philosophies and false evil wicked doctrine. He transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, he's in everybody else's borders. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. So his desire, Esau Edom, the so-called white race, their desire only is hell and death, and cannot be satisfied. There's always something brewing, a new war, a new conflict, always with this people. There's never peace. Everybody cannot relax, because he's always got something brewing, another war and conflict going on throughout the earth. Nobody can rest. But gathereth unto him all nations. That's Babylon the Great, so-called America. All nations. America's called the great melting pot. Why? Because all the nations are in one nation over here, and got us all jumping on top of each other, interacting with each other on a daily basis. And heapeth unto him all people. So this is just pinpointing who it is, and he's about to go down. Revelations 20 and 10. And the devil that deceived them, he's the deceiver of the earth, the devil the Bible speaks of. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, that was coming soon with the thermonuclear fire, and the cherry laser beam fire, so-called UFO fire, where the beast and the false prophet are. That beast, Esau Edom, the so-called white race, and the false prophet, that's That's that false prophet is the Pope, and then also the false prophets of the nation of Israel. So so-called pastors of the Christianity church, all these false prophets, and a lot of non-Christianity. There's a lot of false prophets popping up out of nowhere that's been ear hustling the prophets, learning a couple precepts, and then they coming out with their own little doctrine trying to deceive the people. So any false prophet that's not speaking thus saith the Lord in the name of Yahushua are false prophets, and they're going to be all thrown in that fire. They're going to get burned with thermonuclear fire, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So that's forever and ever. It's going to be a period of time, but it's going to be a very horrible, intense, painful death. 2nd Ezra 14 and 13. And this is what we just sit back and do and get beamed up in the chariots if we approved by the Most High and accepted by the Most High. 2nd Ezra 14 and 13. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, and mean correct them, let them know what's going on according to the pure true doctrine of Yahushua, under the commandments of Yahweh. Reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Everyone's going to be troubled by everything that's going on right now, but you comfort them and let them know what's coming, and to get right, keep the commandments and the faith of the Messiah, and you'll be all right. 14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man. All the burdens of Esau, Edom, these burdens of working day in, day out, and all of the other stress and strains and bills and all the evil wickedness going on with the alphabet community, the drag and all that nonsense. Put off now the weak nature. Verse 15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. So how you flee from these times? By putting on the spiritual man, the new man, keeping the commandments and having the faith and testimony of Yahushua. And then that's all we have to do. Just sit back, relax, have the faith, and believe. And the Most High going to provide the whole way until those chariots crack the sky and beam up the elect and burn all of the wicked and all the evildoers on the earth. Psalms 34 and 18 through 19, and we'll close out. The Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, is nigh, mean near, is near unto them that are of a broken heart. So we have a broken heart because we sighing and crying for the abominations that are done in the midst thereof. There's a bunch of wickedness going on. And then now World War III is coming. And so we're in a grieving, broken heart right now. The Most High is near unto those that are sincere and genuine and believing in the Messiah, believing in Yahweh and his only begotten Son. The Lord Yahweh is near unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. You got to be sincere and genuine. Verse 19, many are the afflictions of the righteous. So when we come to the truth, the fire turns up on us, and we have to endure all of the temptations of the Babylonians and their society here in America. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, delivereth him out of them all. So all we have to do is just trust in the Lord, keep the commandments and the faith of Yahushai, and we're going to be okay. And with that being said, I hope this video was edifying. The water to the Rachak Kodash for blessing me to make another video. Hopefully it was edifying. To the next video, I say, Shalom.